And we're back with some more New York Rangers franchise mode in FHM 11. And in the last one, we went through the offseason of year number 1, I believe it is, where we went 48, 30, and 4 for 100 points. And unfortunately, we were swept out of the first round in a heartbreaker. So now we look to rebound as a team with our maybe not improved, but definitely new roster, as we had to make several moves to cut back on the team salary cap. We're currently at 84.3 million roughly. Most notably, we had to trade Panarin, the rights to Edstrom, and a 3rd round pick in exchange for our 1st round pick in the 2025 draft. So he is now back with where he started his career in Chicago. And if we could have kept him, I would have. But we did ultimately make the decision to renew Shesterkin's contract, 10.3 for the next 7 seasons. We'll see if that was a mistake or not. I'm already kind of regretting my decision due to his performance post-trade deadline with that .901 save percentage, where I believe he only had 2 good games total post-trade deadline. And then during the playoffs, where he played 2 games, he had an .894 save percentage. And unfortunately, I don't think Brossoit did much better in the playoffs. As we check his stats, yeah, he had a .904. So he did slightly better during the playoffs, but he did much better during the regular season, .922 save percentage. So I'm almost still tempted to use Brossoit, but we got to give Shesterkin the chance to rebound, right? We got to think that he is going to be able to get back to where he was 2 years ago with that .918. Not to mention, we got a new head coach, Craig Berube, who is a defensive-minded coach, and we did not have that last season. We had AV, who was offensive, thanks to the decision made by the presidents to hire him. So now we're going to see what Craig Berube can do in his stead. And these are the lines starting out. It would seem we have Harvey Pinard, Trocheck, and Rempe on the first line. What? Othman, Korczak, and Artamanov on the second line. Ratcliffe, Sturm, and Lafreniere. Kreider, Sissons, and Hedel. Where's Zibanejad? Zibanejad is scratched. Kako is scratched. I don't know what Craig Berube is thinking here, but he's not off to a great start. This is these lines are kind of brutal. Well, actually, okay, that sort of makes sense. Their fitness aren't great. Zibanejad's at 40% and Kako's at 35%. All right, that makes a little bit more sense. I was gonna say, if you're scratching Zibanejad and Kako right out of the gate without the reason of their fitness being low, then you're definitely not gonna be a fan favorite coach unless you could prove that this team is better off without them somehow. But maybe their fitness will change between now and our first game on September 26th. So let's get up to our first game against Seattle. Oh, it seems Matthew Robertson was claimed off waivers by San Jose. I guess he must have been in the AHL. Yeah, that's unfortunate. So you know what? Let's get someone off waivers here. Owen Power's on waivers for some reason. I mean, we're not taking on that contract for sure, but still, the fact that someone his age is on waivers is interesting, especially at 3-star ability, 3.5-star potential. Jake Sanderson as well. Again, not taking that contract, but still seeing some interesting players on waivers here. Samuel Girard, once again, too big of a contract, not taking that. I would like to get someone to replace Robertson, though. Let's get Jack Rathbone. He's on a minimum deal for 1 year at 2-star ability. 16 puck handling. I mean, it doesn't look great defensively, but he should do as a replacement player. So I will place a claim for him. All right, we're on the 26th now. And Zibanejad and Kako both have 100% fitness. So I expect when I click this button that they're both going to be dressed. Okay, good. I was going to say, if they weren't, then I might have had to take over the lines myself and put it all the way I wanted to. But it seems that we have some decent lines now. Kreider, Zibanejad, and Lafreniere on the first line. Then you have Ratcliffe, Hedel, and Kako. I still want Hedel to be on the wing. Then you have Othman, Trocheck, and Artamanov, and then Sissons, Korczak, and Rempe. Nico Sturm and Harvey Pinard are scratched. Then on defense, you have Miller and Fox, Shea and Kovacevic, Rathbone and Perbix. Brandstrom is scratched, and then currently injured is Darren Radish. However, he should be back soon. So I think with that, we'll get year number 2 with your New York Rangers underway, and we will see what October brings us. All right, so on November 1st, we are currently 9-8, good enough for 5th in the division. Playoff spots are still wide open for the taking, so it's not impossible to get back in, but it's been shaky at best. It has been shaky at best. Let's take a look at the player stats. You have Zibanejad leading the way with 16 points. Then you have Kreider with 15, Lafreniere with 13, Fox with 11, followed up by Artamanov with 9 and 15 games. He's having a good rookie season so far. 8 points for Radish, Hedel, Trocheck, and Shea. 7 for Ratcliffe and Harvey Pinard. 6 for Othman and Kako. 5 for Miller and Brandstrom. 3 for Kovacevic, Rathbone, and Sturm. 2 for Korczak, 1 for Perbix and Rempe. And in goal, you have Igor Shesterkin in 16 games played with an 899 save percentage and a goal saved above average of negative 3.83. Let's see his game by game. The first regular season game against Seattle, he had 839, followed up by a 962, 810, 964, 935, 885, 815, 880, 914, 789, 891, 963, 909, 968, 933. So he had a good stretch there, but then back to 846. Oh man, Shesterkin, what are we going to do with you? Let's check out the team stats, see where we are. Goals for per game, we are 19th in the league with a 3.06. Goals against per game, we are 12th in the league with a 3.12. Face-offs, we are currently 18th in the league with a 49.3. Power play, we are 18th in the league with a 22.6. And the penalty kill, we are 17th in the league with a 77.4. I want to give Shesterkin the chance to rebound here, but so far he's not giving me much to work with. And it's not like I can even pin this on the coach now at this point. Like, we can't pin this on AV because it's a different coach now, right? We got Craig Berube in there. Although, unfortunately, Bressois not doing much better when he gets in there. In 2 games played, he has an 898. As far as the defensive core goes, Fox got a good defensive grade, Shea with a good defensive grade, Brandstrom and Rathbone with good defensive grades. Radish has 8 points in 13 games played. I'd say the only real weak link here is Kovacevic, but even still, you have K-Andre Miller currently injured, and he'll be back soon, so Kovacevic will probably be out by the time Miller gets back. And I'm pretty sure Miller's got a good defensive grade. Let's see. Yeah, 65. I think I'm going to take control of the lines here for a bit. I want to see what happens when I put Hedel in the wing. So I think I'm going to scratch Rampy. He doesn't really do much besides hit. Yeah, he's got 1 point in 17 games played, but I think I'd rather have Sissons in there, especially for the face-offs. Okay, at least with these lines, we now have someone who is good with face-offs in the middle for every line. Zibanejad, Trocheck, Sturman, and Sissons. All right, so now we're just going to simulate a month and see how my lines do compared to Craig Berube's, and we'll see what that does for us. If it doesn't do anything, then we may have to consider making a trade or two here. Ooh, Artamonov down with an injury for 1 to 2 months. Okay, I've seen enough. I've seen enough. Stop the simulation. Shesterkin, what are you looking like, buddy? 896. Let's see. 903, 882, 955, 880, 906, 857, 905, 891, 846, 927. He's not getting back to the way he was during 2023-24, is he? He's got a lower goal saved above average than last year now. Yeah, really regretting that contract right now. Jeez, Bressois is doing so bad right now. 866 in 5 games played. What happened? Yeah, not good. Not good. Where are we in the standings right now? 5th? 28 points? Oof. We're way out of a wild card right now. Even Ottawa in 7th at the Atlantic has more points than us right now. Something's got to change. To be honest, I don't like how Rempe simulates. 49 defensive grade. He's got 2 points so far in 22 games played. The only good part about him is that he hits and that he's tall. Other than that, he's really not too useful. I think I might trade Rempe. Korzak's also not ideal. Already 23. Does not simulate well. 3 points in 16 games played. I'll be a bit more patient with Othman because he at least has 8 points. So he's showing some sort of promise offensively, whereas the other 2 aren't really. So I think I'll see what's out there on the trade block. Yeah, there's not really much, at least not in terms of guys who we would be able to afford. Like there's Stützle and Norris on the trade block for Ottawa, but their contracts are little much for us right now. At the very least, we should try to find a new backup goaltender because Bressois is not doing it right now. I mean, Draisaitl's still out there in free agency. It's the 5-star ability, probably because he's too expensive. No one can afford him. Yeah, he wants that 9.8 for 7 years and a no movement clause. But of course, there's no way we're getting him. We weren't even able to hold on to Panarin. So what to do? Yeah, I still want to trade Korzak and Rempe, but I don't know exactly who we could trade them for at this point. Like, there's no one jumping out, at least no one that's available. So I'll just leave them both on the trade block for right now. But I would definitely prefer to move them at some point soon. May as well put Bressois on there as well. And Shesterkin, I mean, I don't know who's going to take that contract, but I will say that I'm already very much regretting that contract. Jeez, Shesterkin, why are you so bad? How are you this bad? 815, 806. Yeah. Heavily regretting that contract now. Because he just had 2 stinkers against Tampa and then Nashville. 5-1 loss, 7-5 loss. It's so bad. So bad. How is... I don't get how a 4.5-star goaltender could be this bad. I really don't. The consensus is like, yeah, he's really not great right now. He's down to a 3.5-star ability consensus. I don't think there's gonna be any team taking that contract. We might be stuck with him. We might have to buy him out at some point. Oh man. Honestly, I wonder what would happen if I just sent him to the AHL. I don't think he would get claimed, to be honest. Oh man, even his ratings are going down now. Look at that, professionalism going down, determination going down. Oh no. Oh, this is bad. This is so bad. Possibly one of my biggest goofs of all time. Oh my goodness. Shesterkin, what are you doing, dude? Yeah, I don't get Shesterkin because he has these games where he's clearly one of the best goaltenders in the world, but then he also has those games where you'd be hard pressed to believe that he even plays in the AHL. And he has many of those games. I don't know. I don't know, man. We are already here at the point of Igor being so cooked that I am willing to do this trade. I think I'm willing to do this trade. It sucks because I was imagining getting a first-round pick back for him, but now at this point, I just want to get this season back on track. And a big part of that is going to involve trading Shesterkin because he's just been so bad. We're going to be getting Phoenix Copley back in return. He's 33 on a 1-year deal. Very manageable. 911 save percentage currently, so hopefully he can stay like that. And then Vince Dunn, solid defensive defenseman. He's got 2 years left on his $6.3 million deal. He's got a 78 grade so far this year, so very good defensively. And then you have Philippe Danault, 2 years left on his $5.75 million deal, 32 years of age, 2.5-star center, good at faceoffs, 18 points in 44 games played. Grade isn't fantastic, but, you know, it'll do for now. He's better than Korzak at any rate. And then we're also going to be trading Rempe along with a 4th-round pick. So Shesterkin, Korzak, Rempe at 25% of his salary retained and a 4th-round pick for this year's draft in exchange for Phoenix Copley, Vince Dunn, and Philippe Danault. Yeah, I should have gone with my gut instinct at first. My initial gut instinct was to trade Shesterkin, but I wanted to believe that he was able to get back to where he was 2 seasons ago with that 918, but he's really, really making it difficult to believe in him right now. Yeah, I think this is one of those situations where you just have to cut your losses and make the best of a bad situation. And in this case, that is trading Igor Shesterkin. So Shesterkin, Korzak, Rempe, and a 4th for Copley, Dunn, and Danault offer trade. Yeah, it's got to be done. It's got to be done. Our last 2 games are losses. We're down to 20, 24, and 3. Shesterkin's not looked good. LA has accepted our offer miraculously for Igor Shesterkin, Korzak, Rempe, and a 4th for Copley, Dunn, and Danault. It's got to be done. It's got to be done. Complete trade. There it is.
Nicky Igor, who played terribly for the Rangers, has been moved. Let me tell you something. He was bad. Very bad. We caught him sleeping during the game. Must have learned a thing or two from Sleepy Joe.
Igor Shesterkin, now a member of the LA Kings. And hopefully Phoenix Copley works out for us. And Vince Dunn, solid defensive defenseman. Hopefully he'll help us get back on track. Okay, good. Now, so Hedl is now officially a left wing. So if I go back to the assistant setting the lineups, he should put Hedl at wing, correct? I mean, right now he's on the 4th line wing, but I guess he is technically at wing. So big trade for your New York Rangers, and we'll see what Phoenix Copley's able to do. Kakko out with an injury, 2 to 3 weeks. Yeah, this team is kind of cooked at this point. 21, 28, and 4. I swear, this is not how I envisioned this. This is not how I envisioned this going at all. 896 currently for Copley. We can't. Should I just fire the goalie coach at this point? Oh man. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna get a new goalie coach. Scott Clemenson, get in here. I think he's better than Reese as far as his coaching goalies goes. Yeah, he's got 18 coaching goalies compared to 17 and 15. He's got 16 for coaching prospects as well. I mean, Reese has got the much better player management, but right now we just need to change something. So Clemenson, get in there. Oh boy, another major injury, this time to laugh. 1 to 2 months. They're going to call up Barbashev now because we've been getting quite a few injuries lately. And for some reason, Hedl is still on the 4th line, despite being a 3.5-star ability. It's not even like his fitness is that bad. It's at 81. He shouldn't be on the 4th line. This is definitely not how I envisioned this going. I at the very least want to instill some confidence in these guys again, right? Just get them back on their feet. Like at this point, you can't expect playoffs, right? I think this team is probably cooked. as far as making the playoffs this year goes. But if we can go on a bit of a winning streak and get some confidence back in these guys, I think that'll be good going into next season. And who knows, maybe if we go on a really long winning streak, we just might be able to squeak into the playoffs. Not likely, but still, you never know. All right, so we're on March 1st. We are 30, 32, and 4. We've had a good stretch over the past month or so. If we go back to, I think, January, starting around here with Columbus, you got a 4-2 win, then a 4-3 win against St. Louis, 5-4 win against Winnipeg. You have a loss against Carolina, but then a win against New Jersey, a win against San Jose, and a win against New Jersey. And then in February, obviously a shortened month due to the international tournaments. But then you have another win against New Jersey, 6-5, a loss to Utah, win against LA, win against Utah, loss to Vancouver, win against Pittsburgh, loss against Montreal. So as far as Copley goes, at the moment, he's doing much better than Shesterkin did. That's for sure. I'm not saying he hasn't had bad games in there. He definitely has. But for the most part, he at least has been more consistent than Shesterkin was. Do I dare look at Shesterkin right now? Let's see what he's doing in LA. Of course. 920 save percentage just like that. 909, 935, 940, 933, 935. Anyway, let's take a look at the stats before we do anything at the trade deadline. Kreider with 59 points in 63 games played. Then you have Zibanejad with 48. Fox with 42, 38 for Hedel. Yeah, we're really not doing too great this year in any category, it seems. Laugh with 35, 32 for Dunn, 31 for Ratcliffe, 30 for Artamanov and Trocheck, 29 for Harvey Pinard, 26 for Kakko, 25 for Radish, 22 for Dano and Miller, 19 for Shea, 14 for Sissons and Kovacevic, 13 for Rathbone, 11 for Sturm, 10 for Othman, 9 for Brandstrom, and 1 for Perbix. And in goal, of course, you have Copley with a 908 save percentage in total and a 904 currently with us. And then Brossoit in 10 games played with an 884. I'm going to see if I can trade him. Philip Lindbergh wouldn't be a bad pickup. He's got a 916 save percentage on Pittsburgh currently at 36 games played, 71 grade. And he's on the trade block, so you know what? And he's on a minimum contract, all the better. So trade offer for him. Let's see if we can get him on this team. Apparently Brossoit was adding negative value because the rights to Pajuniemi and 2/7 for Lindbergh will work. And Pajuniemi at this point is 26, 1.5 star ability. Probably not going to grow much more, if at all. So yeah, let's do this. Offer trade, finalize. All right, so we've gotten a respectable backup goaltender in there. Let's send Brossoit down. One thing's for certain, we have to have a plan going into this offseason. Not that there wasn't one last season, but you know, things just didn't go according to plan. And we don't really have any big players coming up this offseason in terms of their contract. But I think the real decisions that we're going to have to make for this team are going to involve Trocheck, Kreider, and probably Zibanejad as well. Zibanejad's still got 5 years left on his contract, 8.5, currently 32, and he's starting to regress point-wise. Because an average of 60 points over the past 3 seasons for 8.5 in cap hit, it's a bit rough. Especially when there's five more years left on the deal. Yeah, the big decisions for this team are going to be with Kreider, Zibanejad, and Trocheck. I think that's going to determine how smoothly we can transition from one era to the next, right? And it's looking like this team is heading into its next era where we're going to have to move on from the core set of players that have made up this team for such a long time and look towards some younger talents, right? And of course, that young talent is going to hopefully include Ivan Ryabkin. He's up to a 2-star ability now, 4-star potential, looking pretty good so far. Hopefully he can keep working on getting his attributes up there. Nikita Artamanov, also definitely a key part of our future, only 20 years of age, 2.5-star ability, 4-star potential. He has 30 points so far in 48 games played in his rookie campaign at a 61 grade. There's a bright future for him. And then obviously you still have Laff and Kakko, who are 24 and 25 respectively. So you have those guys, but I think a lot of the veterans of this team are going to need to start being moved out. I wouldn't say all at once, but in fact, I would say at least one of these guys, either one of Kreider, Zibanejad, or Trocheck is probably gone at the draft. However, for right now, what I want to focus on, what I think is the most important, is being able to build these guys' confidence back up. Because when you have some bad goaltending for that long, your team's confidence could dip, right? So I think what's most important, at least for right now, getting the young guys to play to their potential and smoothly transitioning from the Kreiders, the Zibanejads, and the Trochecks to the Artamanovs and the Ryabkins, right? And as of right now, there's no one on the trade block that really stands out to me as far as young players go. And that's what I would be looking to trade for right now. I'm not going to be acquiring any veterans at this point because, we already have a lot of them. And we're definitely at a point right now where we need to really start acquiring some more prospects and more draft picks if we want it to be a smooth transition from one era to the next, right? So I think the trade for Lindbergh is going to be the only trade I make here at this trade deadline. Besides, we already got the big trade out of the way earlier in January. So I think we'll just go the rest of the season here and see where we finish. We are at the end of the regular season. We finished 40, 37, and 5, good enough for 85 points and 5th in the Metropolitan Division. Of course, we did not make the playoffs, but we did have a good run towards the end there. We definitely had more wins than losses after we traded Shesterkin, so things are looking up. That being said, there are going to be moves in the offseason, possibly moving one of Kreider, Zibanejad, or Trocheck, or some combination of the three, because we need to start that transition now if we want to have a smooth transition into the next generation. But before we get into that, let's take a look at the player stats. You have Kreider with 74 points, leads the team 40 goals. Zibanejad with 65, Fox with 65, Hedel with 53, 45 for Laugh, 37 for Ratcliffe, and Dunn. Artamanov finishes his rookie season with 36 and 63 games played. Trocheck and Radish with 35, 33 for Kako, 32 for Harvey Pinard and Dano, 25 for Shea, 24 for Miller, 17 for Kovacevic, 16 for Sissons, 15 for Rathbone, 13 for Sturm, 11 for Othman, 10 for Brandstrom, and 1 for Perbix. And in goal, you have a 912 save percentage. Imagine that. From Phoenix Copley in 59 games played, and from Philip Lindbergh in 38 games played, you have a 916. So obviously we did not make the playoffs this year, but I think just given how much better we played after we traded Shesterkin, there's still a lot of hope for this team, right? There's still proof that this is a good team on paper. It's just that Shesterkin was, as we know, for whatever reason, not good here, but he's out there with a 920 in LA. So, we just have to move on and accept it as part of the past. But you know what? That contract is LA's problem now. So with that, I guess there's not much else to do except see who wins the Stanley Cup. And your 2025-26 Stanley Cup champions are the Anaheim Ducks. It's their second championship. They last won in 2007. They went through Vancouver, Vegas, Winnipeg, and Boston. And so with that, I think that'll be about it for this one. And the next one, we'll go through the offseason of year number 2. And frankly, it's going to be a pretty big offseason as we do have some decisions to make here regarding the future of this team. So I'll leave you guys off here, and I'll see you guys in the next one.